What is a physicist that defies physics, likes to behave like a liquid, and can be described by an equation? This might seem like the wildest puzzle, but the answer is simply a cat. Cats are actual physicists. In 1975, a scientist by the name of Jack Hetherington published a scientific paper about solid helium-3. When writing the paper, Jack used the pronoun we several times, but by the end he realized that he in fact was alone from the very beginning. Jack had no colleagues at that point, and instead of replacing we with I, he decided to add his cat as the second author to the paper. FDC Willard was the cat's full name, Felix Domesticus Chester Willard, and no one would be aware of this gesture until they checked with the signatures of the authors, because the cat's paw print was there along with Jack's signature. Jack did not stop here. In 1980, he wrote a review article about atomic and nuclear physics, but since his co-authors couldn't agree on the contents, Jack got a brilliant idea and decided to make his cat the sole author of this paper, because you should totally blame it on the cat. Cats defy gravity and can survive falls from insane heights. Not only that, but they are able to strengthen themselves when falling to land on their feet. This seems to violate conservation of angular momentum, but cats of course know this and use a specific trick. The cat bends its body at the waist and rotates its front and back halves in opposite directions, effectively creating two separate rotating systems. This allows the cat to flip without violating physics. As for their survival from great heights, falling objects are affected by gravity and counted by air resistance, so after a while they reach terminal velocity and it stays constant. This means if a cat can survive a 50-meter fall, it could theoretically survive a 1000-meter fall, and since cats are light, have flexible bodies, and can spread their limbs to increase air resistance like a parachute, they're really good at surviving falls. Since they are so agile and don't have a rigid collarbone, cats can fit in almost any container, very similar to liquids which also flow and fit into vessels. Be water, my friend, or be a cat. A French physicist actually managed to write a mathematical equation describing his cat's behavior. When cats are alone, they just sleep and lay around with minimal activity. If we go ahead and pet the cat, it may purr and become more active, but if it sees a bee or something like a dangling string, the cat goes absolutely wild and chases it non-stop with maximum energy. If we call the cat, it may come or completely ignore us. Classic cat behavior. This graph somehow captures these observations, meaning if the cat was naturally lazy or hyperactive, the equations would change to describe that particular personality. Researchers could even study the same cat over time to see how its behavior changes as it ages. Either way, physics is a study of motion and behavior. We try to describe and understand things we observe, which is exactly what this guy did.